All right, hello. Justin Schrader here, designer of Storybook Saga. And I'm going to do a full playthrough today to give you guys an idea of how this game works and what you can expect from it. So, first to set up, you have these targeting cards for the heroes and these targeting tokens for the villains. Now, to be honest, after you've played a few times, you probably won't need these because you'll know, left, center, right, front, back. You won't need to reference that. But for your first few games as you're learning, we recommend using them. Now, there are really 5 sets of cards. 4 of them you're going to shuffle separately. So you have your heroes, your level 1 villains, your level 2 villains, and then the locations. So I've already done that. So our location for this fight is going to be the 100-acre wood. Now, one of the decisions you need to make at the beginning is what difficulty do you want to play on? For the hardest difficulty, you are going to find the level 3 villain, aka the big boss, that matches this location. So for the 100-acre wood, it's the swarm of bees. And I'm going to set that aside over here. If you wanted a medium difficulty, you would pick any other level 3 villain. So not the one that's going to get the boost from the location. And if you want an easier game, just put the level 3 villains aside and we'll play with an extra level 2 villain. But for the sake of this video, we're going to do the hardest difficulty. So I set the swarm of bees aside for now. And then I'm going to form my team of heroes. Right. So to do that, I'm going to look at 2 cards at a time. Choose one of them to be on my team. The other one goes on the bottom of the deck. So here I have the White Knight or Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is great. 3 damage to an enemy of my choice. But I need 5 of a kind. That's going to be pretty tough. So I'm going to take the White Knight. Next to Rabbit or Peter Pan. And I know Rabbit because he is from the 100-acre wood. He's going to have a little boost. So I'm going to go ahead and take Rabbit. Wendy or Tinkerbell. Wendy has an attack. Tinkerbell has a fun special ability. So I'm going to take her. Next to, let's see, Dorothy or Alice. Again, I want to show you Alice. She's got a fun one, so we'll take that. A couple more cards here. Tin Woodman or Christopher Robin. I'm going to go with Christopher Robin here. He only needs 4 of a kind. Maybe I can pull that off. And then the last 2, Tigger or Eeyore. Right, I've got a few attackers already. So I'm going to take Eeyore. Eeyore, again, has a special ability. Put Tigger on the bottom. All right, so here's my team of heroes, at least for now. I need to set up my villains. So for the first round, it's just 3 level 1 villains. Doesn't really matter which token you put them up under. So I'm just taking the top 3 off the deck. We got the March Hare, the Baxen, and Smee. Now I'm going to lay my heroes out in this grid, a 2x3 grid. For some of the cards, it might not matter where they go. I'm looking at where are the villains going to target. That might affect where I put the heroes. Some of them might have abilities that relate to where they're at in this grid. So, for example, the White Knight can protect adjacent heroes, so orthogonally adjacent. So maybe I'll put him here, and then these 3 spots are adjacent. And so I'm going to pick maybe some of my more important heroes. So maybe we'll go like that. Now, we have these reminder tokens. One thing I found playing games, when there are special abilities, I often forget about them. So here, any monster or hero from the 100-acre wood, I'm going to put a reminder token that they have a special ability. And just a couple notes I should have already said. One, these are obviously prototype components, but I will say the artwork looks fantastic. And number two, you'll hear me use terms like monster and villain interchangeably. They mean the same thing. Monster, villain, enemy. So, all right, let's get started. Round one. The villains always attack first, so I'm just going to go from left to right. So here, the March Hare. He rolls 2 dice. He deals 1 damage for each odd value, and the target is determined by rolling this die. So if you want, you can just roll them all together. All right, I got 1 odd number, and the target is the front. Now, the special ability on the 100 Acre Wood is that I can re-roll the target die for the current character. And that can be used once per round for villain or heroes. But actually, I'm okay with the front because the White Knight is going to take all the damage. So I'm going to put 3 damage there. It should have been 1 to each of the fronts, but the White Knight steps up and takes the hit for Rabbit and Eeyore. Right, so now we go to the next one, the Baxen. And again, this reminder token says add 2 dice to the attack pool of every local enemy. So instead of rolling 6 dice, now Baxen is rolling 8. And for each distinct pair of matching dice, I'm going to do 1 point of damage to the hero in the matching value slot. So let's see here. I got 2 6s, 2 4s, and 2 2s. That was pretty rough. So that means the heroes in slot 2, 4, and 6 take a point of damage. And now I go to Smee. Smee just does a fixed 1 damage, but we don't know the target. All right, so he rolled B for the back, and I really want to protect these characters, so I'm going to use this ability, so maybe I'll just turn that, kind of tap it. I'm going to re-roll the target die. All right, and I got the front. So this time, I think I'm going to let everyone take 1 damage. So not great. The White Knight is struggling, but everyone's still alive. And even if the heroes had taken damage up to or exceeding their health value, they would still get to attack this round. It's only at the end of the round that they are eliminated. All right, now I get to attack as the heroes. So first thing, check and see if you have any special abilities. So here, Tinkerbell says, at the beginning of each round, assign 1 die to each active hero and set it to that card's target number. Right? So this card up here is in slot 1. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Eeyore also has a special ability, but that takes place during the round. So now I'm going to collect all of the dice provided by my heroes. So Eeyore and Tinkerbell have special abilities. They don't give any dice. The White Knight gives 1. The others give 2. So altogether, I get 7 dice. So I'm going to form my pool over here. And now, 1 by 1, I'm going to roll the dice and assign them to cards. All right, so first die is a 1. Well, this is great. Rabbit needs a pair. He's already got a 1 on there. There's another one. All right. Another one. This can only be activated once. So he's got a pair. He does 1 damage. So what am I going to do with this one? Alice wants dice that sum to 7, and Christopher Robin wants 4 of a kind of 5s. So I'm going to throw this die on Eeyore, and I'll be able to re-roll it later because of his special ability. Same thing with the 2. And I'm really looking for some 5s here for Christopher Robin. And that is not going well. All right. So Eeyore's special ability says once per round, you may return all dice here to your pool. So essentially, he doesn't have any attack, but I get to re-roll all these dice. So he had 7 dice on him. They're all coming back. All right. Already we're doing better. There's a 5. 6 I'll put on Alice. Maybe I can get a 1 to match with it. 3. All right, there's a 6 and 1 and 3 and 4. So Alice is looking good. I'd love to get a couple more 5s, but one more. Come on, one more 5. Oh, just missed. Okay. So now that I've assigned the dice, I'm going to go through one by one in order and carry out their attack. So Rabbit, 1 damage to an enemy of your choice. The Baxton gets to roll extra dice. I really don't like that. We're going to put damage there. These 2 characters don't have any abilities. All right. Alice has an interesting one. So it says I spend a pair of dice that sum to 7. So I'm going to get rid of the 4 and the 3. And I roll the target die. And based on its results, we'll do 7. So I got a C. So in that case, I do damage to the center enemy. Well, that's good. I have another pair that sums to 7. I can spend that and roll this again. All right. So the character on the right takes a point of damage. And then I don't have any other pairs that sum to 7. And Christopher Robin, I was just short. I needed 1 more 5. So that looks like that's the end of the round. Right. So I clean off the dice from my heroes. Obviously, all the damage stays. Right now, I would check if anyone's eliminated. I don't believe anyone is. I reset the location. I can use that ability again. And we start the next round. So the March Hare, looking for odd values. So 1 on the right. So these 2, and I'm going to let you take that one. The Baxton, again, as the local enemy, gets 8 dice instead of 6. So this is going to be brutal. Let's see what we got. A pair of 1s and a pair of 5s. That's really not too bad. So 1 and 5 get damage. Christopher Robin doesn't even have any damage yet. And Rabbit, he's still kicking. And now Smee. All right. I got left, which should be Rabbit and Alice. I could re-roll that, but honestly, I'm not too upset with that because the White Knight's going to take Rabbit's damage, and then Alice will take 2, and she's still okay. All right, time for the heroes to attack. So I carry out Tinkerbell's ability again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I collect my 7 dice and roll them 1 by 1. All right, 5 going on Christopher Robin, already looking better. Another 5. Another 5, look at that. First 3 dice, Christopher Robin's good to go. This 2 I'm going to put on Eeyore. 3 and 4 on Alice, that looks good. 4 I'll put on Eeyore. 6 will go here. So now I'm activating Eeyore's ability. They all come back. I'd really love a 1 for Rabbit or some more dice for Alice. So let's see. Right. All right, there's my 1 for Rabbit. Okay. So again, Rabbit, 1 to an enemy of your choice. I am definitely taking out the Baxton. He's going to be eliminated now. No attacks for White Knight or Eeyore. All right, Alice, I have 1 pair that sums to 7. All right, another damage on right. That's not so bad. And now Christopher Robin gets 2 damage to an enemy of my choice. So I could take out Smee. I'd waste a point of damage, but then he'd be done and not attack next round. I think I'm going to do that. All right, so then no attack for Tinkerbell. So now, end of the round, a couple of these villains are eliminated. So both of them, I can remove any markers there. They flip over now and become special abilities, items that I can attach to my heroes. So this dagger says that there are at least 3 odd numbers here. Well, and once I attach this to a hero, it's there. Let's do that in Christopher Robin. I'm already trying to get 4 odd numbers. Might as well give a bonus if he gets 3 odd. And this pencil case says I can adjust the value of 1 die here up or down by 1. I'm going to give that to Alice. Help her make pairs of 7s a little easier. Now, I could have given those both to the same hero. It's just, obviously, once that hero is eliminated, those abilities are going to go away for the time being. So let's clean it up and go to a new round of attack. Thankfully, I've only got 1 villain now. 2 dice. Let's see what happens. So 1 odd number on the right. So Tinkerbell is going to take 1. And now Eeyore is going to take 1. Or I could give it to the White Knight. In this case, I think I'll give it to the White Knight. His job is basically to soak up damage, and so we'll let him do that. Now, heroes attack again, and hopefully now I'll be able to take out the March Hare. Let's collect my dice. And got to keep in mind these values here. I'm going to go ahead and throw that 2 on Alice. 4. Put that on Eeyore. There's a 1 for Rabbit. This is a 1. It's an odd number. I'm going to go ahead and put that on Christopher Robin. Okay, so he's already got 3 odd. And now I'm going to pull back from Eeyore, and my 4 of a kind's not looking good, but hopefully I can get some other things. All right, Rabbit, enemy of my choice, 1 damage. Alice, I'm going to go ahead and spend this pair. All right, no villain there, so that attack misses. Now the pencil case, the item I attached here, lets me adjust 1 value up or down 1. So I'm going to turn that 2 into a 1. So now I can do this again. All right, here I rolled back. And for Alice, that actually means I have to damage her. So that attack backfired. And Christopher Robin says 1 damage to a random enemy. And again, I missed. So at the beginning, it was pretty easy to take out the villains. But now there's only 1. So it's a little bit harder to target him. And so that's the end of the round. And now you'll notice the White Knight has 7 damage. So he's out. He flips over. Alice is eliminated. So I leave the item underneath, flip her card over. The others are still alive for now. So let's start a new round. March Hare. 2 dice. Oh, that is brutal. 2 hits, but the center sector is not bad. I'm going to go ahead and take 2 hits there. Now, Christopher Robin has an ability where the 100-Acre Wood heroes can kind of share damage. So I'm going to give one of his to Eeyore. Now the heroes go, and you'll notice when these heroes flip over, they still provide 1 die. So their valor and attack motivates you to keep going, and so they can still contribute a little bit. So now I only get 6 dice in my pool. I still have Tinkerbell, but there's no reason to assign dice to the values or to the slots with defeated heroes. So do it like that. And so really I'm looking for 4 of a kind on Christopher Robin and a pair on Rabbit. And so far this is not good. All right, we are going to take those off of Eeyore and try again. Actually, so it doesn't have to be a 1 here. It can be anything. So look at that, 2 4s on Rabbit. Now I'd love to get 4 of a kind or even 3 odd on Christopher Robin. All right, there we go. So Rabbit, 1 damage to an enemy of my choice. And now Christopher Robin, I've got at least 3 odd. So I do it to a random enemy. And you'll notice I rolled this big die for the random enemy. I probably should have rolled a little die. Have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm looking for a 1 or a 2 to target the March. There we go. I got my 2. So Christopher Robin uses the dagger to take out the March Hare. And it's just in time. So I think all my heroes only had 1 health point left. So the March Hare is defeated. This golden key lets me flip a die here to the opposite side. It has to be attached to an active hero, not one of the defeated ones. So I'm going to add that here to Christopher Robin. All right, that is the end of the first round. In between rounds, you can clear off all the damage. Right, so the heroes have a chance to recover. The defeated heroes come back. And then you have a chance here to adjust your team a little bit. Right, now that you've played it out, maybe you don't like how one of the characters fits in. You draft 1 hero from the top of the deck. You can decide to switch it out. If I were to trade with, let's say, Alice, who has an item, that item goes away too. So I'm actually pretty happy with my team. So I'm not going to take Friar Tuck, so he just goes back on the bottom. And then I would get ready for the next round. So in this case, I would have 2 level 2 hero or villains and 1 level 1. I can move my heroes around if I want. I was pretty happy with the layout, so I'm not going to do that right now. And then I would play a second round, just like the first round. Just these villains are going to be a little bit harder. Of course, I'd have to put reminders on these 2 to apply the special ability of the 100-Acre Wood. So just a quick example. The large Heffalump here, you roll 3 dice, but because of the ability, you would roll 5. Oops. And it says do a damage for every 5 total pips. So here I have 8, 10, 16. So that would be 3 damage to everyone in the center. Yikes. So that's rough. Obviously, the White Knight would probably take a lot of that. The Woozle, again, normally rolls 2 dice, but now going to roll 4. And the amount of damage done is the minimum value, which in this case was 2. And the target of the damage is the maximum value, which in this case is 6. So I would get 2 damage on Tinkerbell here in slot 6. And then the Wicked Witch of the East rolls 7 dice. And this is an all or nothing. If her roll includes a full house or a run of 4 consecutive values, then every hero gets 1 damage. And if a roll fails, then there's no damage. So here, 5, 5, 5, 3, 3. That is a full house. Everyone would get 1 damage. So you can see these villains definitely step up in intensity. But I'm going to fast forward through this second round. It would carry out the same way. Let's say I defeated these two. The Hefflump I wasn't able to take out. So that item goes away. These 2 items will get attached. Eeyore's tail, obviously I could put it on Eeyore, but it does a point of damage. If any set of dice here sum to 7, well, that's already what Alice is trying to do. So I'm going to definitely give Eeyore's tail to Alice. And the magic wand says reduce the first attack on this hero by 1 each defense phase. Well, the White Knight is the one taking lots of damage, so I'm going to give him a magic wand, try to reduce that damage a little bit. All right, now I'm going to show you the third and final round. So here I take the big boss I set aside earlier, along with 2 level 2 villains. And this swarm of bees is a little bit unique. You need a cube here to mark out its strength. It's going to start out just here at 1. And again, this is from the 100 Acre Wood, so I'm going to add the reminder token there. So let's see how this plays out. We'll start here with Skylights. Rolls 1 die. And now the amount of damage and the target are given by the value of this die. So what that means is heroes, up here in the higher target numbers, are in a little bit more danger. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch and get the White Knight here in the back to help protect against some of that. And I'll move Christopher Robin up front. To be honest, I'm going to need Christopher Robin to come through with his 4 of a kind to get some damage going. All right, so let's start there. Skylights, 1 die. Okay, got a 1. That's about as good as you can get. 1 damage to Rabbit, not too bad. Now, the swarm of bees starts out light. It's got a strength of 1, so it rolls 1 die, except for we're in the 100 Acre Wood, so actually it gets 2 extra dice. And every die is just going to deal 1 point of damage to the value of the die. So here, 1, 2, and 5 each get damage. So here's 2, 5. But remember, the White Knight, the first attack on each phase is reduced by 1. And now target slot 1 should get a damage, but Rabbit is allowed to share with other 100 Acre Woods heroes, so maybe I'll throw that over on you. All right, now the bishop over here, he's going to roll 9 dice, and his condition is going to deal damage equal to the length of the longest run, and the target is given by the lowest number in that run. So see that here? All right, my longest consecutive run here is a 4, 5, 6. So that would be 3 dice, so 3 damage to the hero in slot 4. But I'm going to protect Alice. I will put all of these actually on the White Knight. So again, he's going to step in, take that damage for an adjacent hero. And now we're ready to go to the hero attack. So again, I still have Tinkerbell. So I'm going to add these dice everywhere. Right. No, I made a little mistake. See if you catch it. Not a rules mistake, a strategy mistake, but we'll play this out. I get 7 dice in my pool. All right, let's go. 5. I'm going to put that on Eeyore. I'm really looking for 1s and 2s right now. But that 3 will go with Alice nicely. So because I have Eeyore, I can be a little bit picky the first time around. All right, there's a 1. Don't need that one. Another 1. All right. So I'm going to take all these from Eeyore back and try again. And now I'm really looking to get Christopher Robin or maybe more pairs for Alice. It's not looking good here. Yeah, we're just going to... I gave up on Christopher Robin. We're going to go up here to Alice and see what we can do. Right, so Rabbit 1 to an enemy of my choice. Now, in this last round, the big boss, the level 3 villain, cannot be eliminated until both of the level 2 villains are eliminated. I can still do damage here, but even if the Swarm of Bees gets up to 8 damage, it won't be eliminated until these other 2 are gone. So Skylight scares me a little bit, so I'm going to do some damage there. And now Alice, I'm going to spend this 7. See what I roll. Now, just to show you what Alice can do, if she rolls left, center, or right, it damages the corresponding villain. If she rolls front or back, she damages herself. But if she rolls this star, then she has made a heroic sacrifice. So we're just going to pretend that happened. And Alice is eliminated, but she takes 1 villain with her. Now, she still has to obey the rule. She can't eliminate the Swarm of Bees because the other 2 aren't eliminated. So maybe she's going to take out the bishop here. And because she eliminates him immediately, I can take this item and attach it to one of my heroes. So this gold coin, it doesn't really matter where it goes other than it gives me a defensive ability. So whoever I think is going to live the longest. So maybe I'm going to throw this on Christopher Robin. So, it says I can reroll any subset of enemy dice once per defense phase. All right, and then White Knight and Tinkerbell don't do any attacks. So we're going to move on. I don't know if you picked up on my mistake, but Christopher Robin can do damage if there are at least 3 odd dice here. But I placed him in a spot where Tinkerbell would give him an even die. That doesn't really make sense. So I am going to do some shifting around here. I'm going to move Christopher Robin over to slot 3. I'm going to move the White Knight over to protect him. And yeah, we'll do that. So I'm rearranged a little bit. And let's do another attack phase. So Skylights, 1 die. Ooh, 3 to slot 3. Well, obviously I need to protect Christopher Robin. So I'm going to redirect that to the White Knight. And the first attack phase, each time, White Knight gets reduced by 1, so he only takes 2 damage. All right, the Swarm of Bees, now they bump up a level. Level 2, it's going to double each time. Plus the 2 from 100 Acre Wood. Now I'm rolling 4 dice. 2, 2, 2, and 6. Oof. So Eeyore would take 3 damage. I'm going to give him 2, and then because of the special ability, 1 will go to Rabbit. So I'm keeping my characters alive, but barely. All right, my turn to attack. I do Tinkerbell's ability. Again, the Alice is gone, so no die is placed there. And now I get only 6 dice in my pool. So let's see if I can get Christopher Robin. Hey, that's a good start. There's a 3. This 5 I'm going to put on Eeyore. This 4, I have an ability here. I can flip 1 die to its opposite side. So I'll go ahead and put that 4 there. I can flip it to a 3 later. All right. So at this point, I'm going to take Eeyore's dice back. And although you normally roll dice, assign them 1 by 1, at this point, Rabbit has what he wants. I don't have anything else. So all of these dice are going to Christopher Robin one way or another. In that case, I'll just roll them all and put them all there. All right, so let's go through. Rabbit 1 to an enemy of my choice. I'm going to do Skylights. Eeyore does nothing. All right, Christopher Robin. If I do 4 equal dice, well, I have 3 4s, but I can flip a die here to its opposite side. So the 3 is going to go to a 4. Now I have 4 4s. 2 to an enemy of my choice. I'm going to pick Skylights. We're going to try to get rid of him. Now 1, if I have at least 3 odd dice here. Well, I ended up with only 1. I forgot about my reroll ability. Maybe I'll put another reminder out here. But that ends the round. Skylights is nearly eliminated, but not quite. So he's going to attack again. 5. Ooh, that is bad. So I think this is going to be it for Tinkerbell. And now the Swarm of Bees doubles in size to 4, plus the 2 bonus dice. They're getting pretty angry. Now, notice these 5s. Tinkerbell's already out, so giving her more damage isn't really going to hurt. The 6 is okay, because the White Knight can stop 1 each round. The 4 are okay, because Alice is already gone. So there's really only 1 die here. I'm going to go ahead and re-roll it using Christopher Robin's ability. Of course, it came up 3, but that's okay. He can take 1. So 1 for Christopher Robin. 2 more for Tinkerbell. She's getting beat up. And then the White Knight would take 1, but the first attack is reduced by 1. All right. Now my turn. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. And I still have 6 dice in my pool. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the 4 up there. Let's do it again. That seems to be working. 5, we'll put on Eeyore to reroll. Another 5. All right. Rabbit got his 1. That's big. All right. I'm going to take all the dice back from Eeyore. And once again, they're all going to Christopher Robin, so I'll just go ahead and do that right now. I think we got a similar situation here. All right. Rabbit, 1 die to an enemy of my choice. There's Skylights. He's got 5. He's going to be out. Christopher Robin, if I flip this 3 to a 4, because that's the opposite side, 4 of a kind, 2 to an enemy of my choice. Well, that's going to be the swarm of bees now. All right. End of the round. Tinkerbell is definitely eliminated. Everyone else is still hanging on. But Skylights is eliminated. What item does he have? Pixie Dust. Ooh, discard this item to set 1 die here to any value. Once again, Christopher Robin's going to be my main weapon, so he's carrying a bunch of items. Strong lad. All right, let's attack again. Starting with the villains. Swarm of Bees doubles to 8. Plus 2. It's 10. This is going to get bad. Before I do that, I should check to see if there's anything I want to change, but I think I'm going to leave it. All right, 1, 1, 2, 3. So the 4s and 5s are great because those are already out. The 1s and 2s, I'm probably going to have to pick a character to be eliminated. I really don't want the White Knight to go away, though, so I need him to protect Christopher Robin for at least another round. So I'm going to re-roll those 6s, and I get a 3 and a 4. All right. I have 3 100 Acre Woods heroes. Any one of them gets another point of damage, they're gone. So I need to pick who's going to take it. 6 damage here. I think Eeyore's gonna take that. Sorry, bud. But I'll live to fight another day. And now it's my turn. And I actually have 7 dice now. But Tinkerbell's gone, so that special ability is out of play. So I need a pair on rabbits, and I really need 4 odd numbers on Christopher Robin. So what I'm going to do this first time around, if I get an odd value, especially if I get 1s, I guess, they'll go in on Christopher Robin. I'll put 1 5 there. Oh, another 5. No. I should have put the 5s there. Okay, the 6, remember, I can flip that to a 1. So I need 1 more 1 on Christopher Robin. Otherwise, I'm going to rabbit here. Oh, I got my 1. Now, if I could get a 4, this would be perfect. Oh, man. I didn't even have to cheat to get that. All right. Rabbit. 2 equal dice, 1 damage. All right. So Swarm of Bees is up to 3. Christopher Robin, I get to flip this 6 to a 1. So 4 of a kind, 2 damage to an enemy of my choice. And now, do I have at least 3 odd dice? Yes, I do. So 1 to a random enemy, so I've got to roll the die. I'm looking for 3 or 4 as my target number. So I missed with the dagger. Makes sense. It'd be pretty hard to stab a swarm of bees with a dagger. But I'm getting there. All right. End of the round. Eeyore is gone. So that reroll ability is out. That's going to hurt. I'm going to go ahead and move the White Knight up here. Might as well protect people as much as possible. And we're ready for another round. And here, the Swarm of Bees doubles again to 16. So now, if you were wondering why the game comes with 18 dice, here you go. 18 dice from the Swarm of Bees. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. Obviously, there's a bunch of ones, a couple twos. I'm going to take all the damage because it's either going to Rabbit or the White Knight. Let's just move it all to the White Knight. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess I get to re-roll any set of dice. I might as well re-roll these to see. But yeah, there's 4 damage to the front line. All goes to the White Knight. He stops 1, but he still takes 3. And now my attack, I get 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dice as my fallen comrades are inspiring me to press on. And no more Eeyore reroll, so I've got to pick Rabbit or Christopher Robin for every value. Let's just throw 2s there. I really want odd. Well, there's 1 damage. Actually, at this point, everything else is going on Christopher Robin, so I'm just going to save myself the trouble. Oh, I think I did it. Rabbit, 1 damage to an enemy of your choice. Swarm of Bees is at 6. And now Christopher Robin, I have 3 4s. I flip the 3 to a 4. And I deal 2 damage to an enemy of my choice. So the Swarm of Bees is at 8. And I just barely managed to eke out a victory. The White Knight was gone. Rabbit and Christopher Robin were both 1 damage away. But I was able to stomp that last bee. And so, by the skin of my teeth, I am victorious. Right. All right. And that's the game. The first 2 rounds are just really opportunities to sort of test out some strategies. How are you going to combo your heroes together? Gives you a chance to earn some items to get some special abilities. And now here in the 3rd round is where it really counts. Can you take down that final villain, or are they going to take you out? And that is Storybook Saga. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments, and I will answer them as soon as possible. Thank you.